Welcome back to Black Cat Crypto Club, guys. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome back to another Friday weekly recap. This week has been absolutely insane as far as crypto, as far as the entire U.S. With the inauguration, transfer of power, everything. A lot of things to go over, guys. And honestly, this has been a hard week. I've started kind of seeing some things that are pretty concerning to me. And this wasn't a video that I really wanted to make. I kind of held off on making videos this entire week just to see how things kind of shook out, hoping things would get better. And there have been some things, guys. There's been some things that have happened that are really positive this week. But, honestly, this isn't going to be a video that gains me any subscribers, honestly. This, I would really be surprised if tomorrow I have much less, if I don't have much less subscribers. Actually, this video is probably going to piss some people off. But at the same time, guys, I didn't make this channel for the likes, for the subscribers. I made this channel to share the information that I have in crypto and to really try and help you guys out. And so I just ultimately, I kind of felt that if I didn't make this video and didn't show you guys, give you guys the warnings that I'm seeing, whether it plays out or not, and I hope it doesn't. I hope, all of these things go off without a hitch and things turn out perfectly. And in however long, 2 years or whatever, we all look back at Drake and laugh and point our fingers and say how stupid I was. I really hope that's the case. But I ultimately decided that it wouldn't be responsible of me if I didn't share this with you guys, share this viewpoint with you guys. So, without delay, guys, head down, hit the unsubscribe button, but make sure you stick around for the video and just see how pissed off you can get at me. Now, guys, with that said, I'm not going to say, don't panic, don't sell. I think the cycle, the crypto cycle, is still going to kind of play out as it expected. There's just some things that are concerning. So we're going to get into all of that, guys. Stick around. The great thing, if you've watched my video for long enough, you know that I'm critical of both sides, both parties, especially when it comes to crypto. And the great thing about being critical of both sides of the one party system is that you piss off absolutely everybody and you make zero friends. So again, head down, hit the unsubscribe button, guys. Now let's get into it. So Friday, last week, I made the last Friday weekly recap video, and I reported that there was a crypto ball, an inauguration crypto ball going on last Friday night. And that did happen. But there was also some other things that kind of happened at the same time outside of the crypto ball in secret, guys. This is what happened.
From a crypto ball before the inauguration featuring Snoop Dogg to a new crypto task force just launched today by the SEC, supporters of the digital currency are hoping the president's promised golden age extends to them.
The reign of terror against crypto is over.
And now, after using his Trump brand to sell everything from steaks and vodka to sneakers and Bibles, the president promoting his company's newly launched Trump meme coin.
I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful.
Those tokens, usually pegged to internet trends or celebrity endorsers, holding only the value traders put in it. At one point, the Trump coin rocketing from $6.50 to more than $72. Today, trading closer to $45 a coin. A similar coin, named for Melania, launched just yesterday.
There was this promise that Trump would usher in a time of at least thoughtful debate. What the concern now is that launching a meme coin is one of those corners of crypto that is taken less seriously.
And ethics experts concerned about conflicts of interest and the Trump family enriching themselves off these coins.
He has the power now not only to be making money, but he's actually going to be in position to be making determinations around that entire sector.
I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world.
For the president, an evolution from just 3 years ago.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam.
President Trump pointing to the influence of his son, Barron.
Barron knows so much about this. Right. Eric, and Barron's a young guy, but he knows it.
The support so far for crypto now sending its most widely known currency, Bitcoin, to near record highs.
Okay, so as we saw there, we had the crypto ball happening Friday night, and outside of the crypto ball, this was not announced at the crypto ball or anything. This was kind of done off in secret, you know, while everybody was busy and focused on the crypto ball. Outside of that, we had Trump launch Trump coin, meme coin, and that was Friday night. And I believe Saturday or Sunday, Melania coin launched, another Trump, Melania Trump meme coin. But I did see a clip over on Natalie Burnell's show. She had Willy Woo on her podcast and YouTube, and they kind of talked about this a bit. So listen into this.
What's your take on this Trump meme coin and now Melania meme coin that reached crazy market caps? Obviously, the hardcore Bitcoiners are saying be really careful and this isn't very presidential. What do you think?
I am really curious why someone relatively smart like Trump would do something so stupid. Because you think about it, it's a meme coin, you know, there's no underlying value, there's no technology behind it. So we know that, well, at least we've seen it with at least 16,000 coins that they trend to zero given enough time. So why would a president want to risk his reputation? You know, it looks great now because you've got market capitalizations in the tens of billions of dollars and looks like he's a genius. But you look at long term, you know, you play the long game, eventually this thing's going to pop and he'll be left with, I don't know how many millions of people that have bought this coin, and they'll be going, I lost a lot of money over Trump, right? And he's the president. That's a very privileged situation. So I'm very, very confused with why he chose to listen to probably his advisor. I don't know, but it just seems like that's like a very fast money grift, and I don't see any long-term strategy behind it. I think it's an absolutely stupid idea.
Okay, so the big thing here for me, guys, with this Trump coin, it kind of goes back to something I kind of warned about several weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago. I said, you know, the past 4 years have been absolutely horrible. Biden has been completely horrible. All of the government agencies, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, the SEC, all have been so atrocious and have had this just stifling effect on the cryptocurrency industry. And we've seen nothing but enforcement, regulation through enforcement. And so coming out of that era and coming into this new Trump administration, where everything was lining up and being absolutely positive, the warning I gave was that what we do not want is for Trump and this new administration to come in and go completely hands off and say, you know what, do what you want, do whatever you want. Because that is exactly what we saw back in the 1980s when Reagan won his presidency. He came in and said, you know what, we're deregulating, do whatever you want, to the savings and loan industry. And that cost Americans, it was just, it created an environment that was just rife with fraud because nobody was overlooking anything. It was literally a hands-off, do what you want, no matter how unethical. How many people you screw over, do what you want. And it cost Americans over $100 billion in the 1980s. So that was my warning that I gave several weeks ago, is that is not what we want. And that is kind of a huge signal that happened before Trump even got inaugurated. Trump launching his own meme coins was a huge signal to me that if we have a president that is launching memes, I mean, you can say what you want about him doing NFTs, because NFTs are collectibles. I get that, like, whatever. But launching an actual meme coin where 80+% of the supply of this coin are owned by Trump. I mean, that is literally exactly how rug pulls play out. Like, that is exactly what happens, is you have the launching party that holds all of these coins. And you know, it pumps these memes pump, just like Hawk Tuah girl. These memes pump, and then the people who own the majority of the tokens pull the rug out, and it's done. Now, whether that happens with Trump coin or not, I don't know. But what the Trump coin is doing, the proposed schedule of sale from that wallet is something like $450,000, or 450,000 Trump coins per day will be released from those wallets and sold. Guys, at the price, and this has gone down almost every single day since it launched, but at the current price today, that is about $15 million worth of Trump coin being dumped onto the market by its issuer. And like Willie Woo said, you know, these things tend to trend to zero because of things like this. So honestly, guys, I really urge caution if you guys are even thinking about touching these things. You know, $15 million worth of coins dropped onto the market every single day is not good for any coin, let alone a meme coin. So, you know, that said, getting back to it, guys, it just kind of signals, you know, if we have a president launching memes, I don't see a bigger signal for do what you want. And that really, really, really scares me. Like I said, I had an absolute stomachache over this the entire week because, you know, it's one thing to try and kill crypto the way Biden and his administration did. It was absolutely idiotic. And we saw that it failed. But this is one way that really could introduce a lot of fraud into the industry and could end up having a huge contagion. If you thought FTX was bad, guys, wait until you see what happens with an environment where we just say, we have a president saying, this is okay, do it, you know, get your money, boys. Very concerning, guys. On top of that, I do want to jump over to an article here that I have with Vitalik Buterin, and he came out and said, you know, a few things about these political coins. This article says why Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin warns against politician-backed meme coins. If we scroll down to his actual quote here, guys, he said, Now is the time to talk about the fact that large-scale He said, Now is the time to talk about the fact that large-scale political coins cross a further line. They are not just sources of fun, whose harm is most contained to mistakes made by voluntary participants. They are vehicles for unlimited political bribery, including foreign nation states. Okay, so I don't even know where to start there, guys. It also, you know, even if Trump doesn't completely pull the rug on Trump meme coin, this is kind of a way where he can take bribes from people without really any oversight. So this opens up political bribery, and you know, that means from anyone across the entire globe. So this actually poses a national threat, a threat to national security through bribery of our president. Now you could say, you know, Trump's not like that. Trump has integrity, you know, whatever you may believe, it opens up the possibility. Okay. So, you know, that said, even if he doesn't, you know, accept bribes through this mechanism, this Trump coin, it absolutely gives, well, it does two things, and a lot of things have done this. First is that it makes crypto even more bipartisan, or even more partisan, meaning crypto is now a Republican thing. So now when that happens, guys, we automatically have 50% of the population that is going to fight against us. What we want is for crypto to be a bipartisan thing. So this absolutely skews things even further to a partisan issue. And not only that, guys, but it gives, this kind of thing gives the people who are against crypto the firepower. You know, we had Elizabeth Warren always saying that Bitcoin posed a national security threat. And it doesn't matter how far off base that claim was. Now she and others like Elizabeth Warren have actual firepower in that arena now, because this absolutely does pose a possible national security threat. So we have that, guys. Okay, so this next bit of news happened late Tuesday afternoon. We saw Trump come in and do what he said he would do and pardoned Ross Ulbricht, guys. So this I applaud 100%. I wish it would have happened day one, like he would have said, but that's a minor detail in the big scheme of things. Guys, now this says crypto crime lord Ross Ulbricht gets a pardon. His fortune is gone after the U.S. auctioned off his Bitcoins in 2014 for $334 a Bitcoin. So, just a bit of humor there, I guess. Karma for selling your Bitcoin, US, or not your Bitcoin. But guys, if you don't know the whole story about Ross Ulbricht, let me just give you a really, really quick overview on what happened with him and why this is such a, you know, kind of an important thing to see him pardoned. Back in, you know, 2012, 13, we had Ross allegedly created a website on the dark web called the Silk Road. Now, on this site, it was kind of like an eBay of sorts of all the dark things on the dark web. You could buy and sell drugs, which was the main purpose of this website. And it quickly garnered attention from Chuck Schumer because he had a constituent in his area, a mother who came to him alarmed that her son had been buying drugs on the internet. And so this garnered the attention of Chuck Schumer, and Chuck Schumer went after it with everything he could. And what they did, guys, was first of all, they violated a lot of search and seizure laws in obtaining the server that the Silk Road and all of the information was hosted by. So there was some due process things going on there, which should alarm everybody, guys. If the government is just allowed to break the law and do whatever they want to arrest anybody they want, that's a threat to every single one of us. So first of all, that happened hands down with this raid on the Silk Road servers and all of that information. Second of all, in the court case against Ross, they did a lot to slander Ross in this court case. They actually brought up a lot of evidence in his court case, they brought up a narrative in his court case that painted him as an assassin, like he paid for someone to kill one of these other moderators on the Silk Road. First of all, the murder never happened. And second of all, they knew that their story there was so full of holes that they didn't actually charge Ross with attempted murder. They charged him with nothing regarding any of that side of their story. They just presented it in court to sway the jury, and they didn't charge him with it. They ended up just charging him with operating a drug website, basically. So there was some really big issues with that as well, because it tainted the jury, and they ended up finding him guilty because the government painted him as this horrible, murderous bad guy, even though they didn't charge him with anything like that. So there were some really, really big, nasty things that the government did during this whole case, during this whole thing. And then on top of it, guys, what they did was they sentenced him to 2 life sentences for these drug crimes. Now, to put that into perspective, guys, we have rapists and murderers that are charged with less or sentenced with less time than that, first of all. Second of all, since the FBI took down the Silk Road, we've had iteration after iteration after iteration of new Silk Roads and other dark marketplaces like this. So directly after the first Silk Road got taken down, we had what was called Silk Road 2.0. And guys, what happened there was they eventually ended up taking that one down as well, found the operator of that second Silk Road, and they sentenced him. His sentence was 5 years. So here's what you got to ask yourself, like, why does the first person that operated the first Silk Road 2.0 get 2 life sentences, and the second person that was doing the exact same thing as Ross get 5 years in prison? And I will tell you why that happened, because Chuck Schumer had mud on his face, had his constituents coming to him, and it made him look bad. And the government set out to make an example of Ross. And so they absolutely just ended his life by warehousing him for 2 life sentences. So, honestly, guys, I do applaud this. I think this is a great thing. And it is crypto related because, obviously this is kind of really where crypto began. Satoshi wasn't, I don't think Satoshi was even in favor of the Silk Road or anything, but this is kind of one of the use cases that used cryptocurrency in its former thing. So, and this is why Democrats and a lot of naysayers say that these things are only used for crime and criminals. But again, guys, this has more to do with our due process as a people as a whole, and government overreach. So, okay, so this next bit of news happened late Tuesday afternoon. We saw Trump come in and do what he said he would do and pardoned Ross Ulbricht, guys. So this I applaud 100%. I wish it would have happened day one, like he would have said, but that's a minor detail in the big scheme of things. Guys, now this says crypto crime lord Ross Ulbricht gets a pardon. His fortune is gone after the U.S. auctioned off his Bitcoins in 2014 for $334 a Bitcoin. So, just a bit of humor there, I guess. Karma for selling your Bitcoin, US, or not your Bitcoin. But guys, if you don't know the whole story about Ross Ulbricht, let me just give you a really, really quick overview on what happened with him and why this is such a, kind of an important thing to see him pardoned. Back in, 2012, 13, we had Ross allegedly created a website on the dark web called the Silk Road. Now, on this site, it was kind of like an eBay of sorts of all the dark things on the dark web. You could buy and sell drugs, which was the main purpose of this website. And it quickly garnered attention from Chuck Schumer because he had a constituent in his area, a mother who came to him alarmed that her son had been buying drugs on the internet. And so this garnered the attention of Chuck Schumer, and Chuck Schumer went after it with everything he could. And what they did, guys, was first of all, they violated a lot of search and seizure laws in obtaining the server that the Silk Road and all of the information was hosted by. So there was some due process things going on there, which should alarm everybody, guys. If the government is just allowed to break the law and do whatever they want to arrest anybody they want, that's a threat to every single one of us. So first of all, that happened hands down with this raid on the Silk Road servers and all of that information. Second of all, in the court case against Ross, they did a lot to slander Ross in this court case. They actually brought up a lot of evidence in his court case. They brought up a narrative in his court case that painted him as an assassin, like he paid for someone to kill one of these other moderators on the Silk Road. First of all, the murder never happened. And second of all, they knew that their story there was so full of holes that they didn't actually charge Ross with attempted murder. They didn't do, they charged him with nothing regarding any of that side of their story. They just presented it in court to sway the jury, and they didn't charge him with it. They ended up just charging him with, operating a drug website, basically. So there was some really big issues with that as well, because it tainted the jury. And they ended up finding him guilty because the government painted him as this horrible, murderous, bad guy, even though they didn't charge him with anything like that. So there were some really, really big, nasty things that the government did during this whole case, during this whole thing. And then on top of it, guys, what they did was they sentenced him to 2 life sentences for these drug crimes. Now, to put that into perspective, guys, we have rapists and murderers that are charged with less or sentenced with less time than that, first of all. Second of all, since the FBI took down the Silk Road, we've had iteration after iteration after iteration of new Silk Roads and other dark marketplaces like this. So directly after the first Silk Road got taken down, we had what was called Silk Road 2.0. And guys, what happened there was they eventually ended up taking that one down as well, found the operator of that second Silk Road, and they sentenced him. His sentence was 5 years. So here's what you got to ask yourself, like, why does the first person that operated the first Silk Road 2.0 get 2 life sentences, and the second person that was doing the exact same thing as Ross get 5 years in prison? And I will tell you why that happened, because Chuck Schumer had mud on his face, had his constituents coming to him, and you know, it made him look bad. And the government set out to make an example of Ross. And so they absolutely just ended his life by warehousing him for 2 life sentences. So, you know, honestly, guys, I do applaud this. I think this is a great thing. And it is crypto related because, you know, obviously this is kind of really where crypto began. You know, Satoshi wasn't, you know, I don't think Satoshi was even in favor of the Silk Road or anything, but this is kind of one of the use cases that used cryptocurrency in its former thing. So, and this is why Democrats and a lot of naysayers say that these things are only used for crime and criminals. But again, guys, this has more to do with our due process as a people as a whole, and government overreach. So, okay. So jumping over to this article, guys, it says Bitwise seeks approval for Dogecoin ETF. Now, most assuredly, this was in response to Trump launching his own meme coins last Friday. Bitwise kind of saw the signal that I did that, hey, you know, this is okay now. You know, do what you want. And they've jumped in and decided, hey, we can make some money selling meme coins to Wall Street. Just pretty wild stuff, guys. And again, I don't see this kind of thing ending well for crypto in general. Also, what happened Wednesday, we jump over here, guys. This is actually some decent news. Now, you'll remember that Gary Gensler resigned on Monday. So Gary Gensler is no more. Ueda, a pro-crypto chairman on the SEC chair, stepped in to be the acting chairman while David Atkins goes through confirmation in Congress and gets seated as chairman. So Ueda's acting, but he is taking action already, and he has formed this crypto task force. And what he's done is he has placed Hester Pierce, crypto mom, in a position to head this crypto task force. So this was a good sign that we saw Wednesday. We did see some action from them yesterday. What they did yesterday on Thursday was they repealed SAB 121. I do want to jump over to that really quick. This article says SEC repeals controversial crypto. Maybe if I can roll down to that. SEC repeals controversial crypto accounting rules for banks. Now, guys, again, what SAB 121 effectively did was it restricted banks from custodying or doing really pretty much about anything with crypto. Because what it said was if you hold crypto, you have to secure it with at least that amount of actual dollars, which no bank was ever going to ever do that. And so it effectively limited banks' participation in the crypto space. And effectively what this did was it gave Coinbase all of the custody for all of the ETFs. Now, if you remember, Congress, both sides of Congress, Republicans, Democrats, all of them in the House and the Senate voted to repeal this accounting bulletin. And then it got to Biden's desk, and Biden, like an absolute moron, vetoed this bill to repeal this accounting bulletin. Now, this is just an accounting bulletin, guys. This doesn't mean it's law, but it's effectively the same thing, because if the SEC says, hey, we really advise doing this, companies will do whatever the SEC advises, because if they go against these accounting bulletins, they effectively paint a big red target on their back. And nobody wants to be sued by the SEC. Nobody wants to have regulators all over their backs. It's not good for your stock prices. It's just not done. So even though it's not a law, which the SEC doesn't have the power to pass laws, what they effectively did here was they stopped the banking industry from participating in crypto. So the SEC repeals this SAB 121. Good news there. This should help the crypto industry have a more robust infrastructure. We won't just have to rely on one central custodian for crypto assets, which is Coinbase right now. If Coinbase did anything faulty or something happened to Coinbase, that would be absolutely disastrous to the entire industry. So diversifying amongst custodians is actually a really good thing for the entire industry, whether it be from banks or not. Guys, this is absolutely a positive thing. So we did see that come in from the SEC yesterday. They repealed that. Also yesterday, guys, we saw Trump finally break the silence since his inauguration and started talking about crypto, and even signed an executive order concerning crypto. Guys, he did speak out about crypto and AI in his speech for the WEF, the World Economic Forum. So we're going to jump over there, and I just have a small clip that I want to show you guys.
I declared a national energy emergency, and it's so important, national energy emergency, to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in history, far exceeding even the record-setting efforts of my last term.
Okay, so Trump says we're going to be, as the US, we're going to be the capital of crypto and AI. Pretty positive, right? And then the sentence after that, he goes on and on about how he is going to be the biggest deregulator that the US has ever seen. Which, guys, I'm sorry, but we've got to have, the thing is we don't need to regulate Bitcoin. Bitcoin's decentralized. We do not need to regulate self-custody of Bitcoin and self-sovereignty. That would be an absolute disaster. But we do need regulations, guys, because without regulations, you have bad actors that will do anything to get everybody's money. You know, we're going to see a lot of fraudsters, like Gary Gensler was kind of saying was happening already, which Gary Gensler wasn't wrong about that. We have plenty of fraud in the crypto space. The worst of which was FTX and Three Arrows Capital and Terra Luna this last cycle. And we saw what that did to us as an industry. You know, it was an absolute hard time in crypto to see us go through that. So we need regulation over these centralized companies, these centralized exchanges. And we do need enforcement against people who are, making meme coins and pulling the rugs out from people and defrauding people of their money. Hawk Tua, that was the most publicized rug pull that we've seen in a long time, guys. But these kinds of things happen all the time. And we do need enforcement and regulation against those things. So when Trump comes out and says we're deregulating, we're going to be the biggest deregulators, that really sets off alarm bells in my head. For a lot of people, everybody else that I'm seeing talk about this are, over the moon happy about it. I just don't see it ending well. And again, guys, I hope I'm wrong about that. And by no means do I mean that this cycle, I'm not trying to scare anybody out of selling their Bitcoin, their crypto, anything. I think this cycle will stay intact. So don't panic off what I'm telling you right here. But it's just something that really, really worries me, guys. So now, next, I want to jump over to this. This is actually the executive order that Trump signed on crypto yesterday. Now, this happened after he made his speech to the WEF, but it kind of says a lot of the similar things. We are going to kind of scroll down through this, and I'm just going to read off a few highlights from this executive order. In this first section, it says, "It is therefore the policy of my administration to support a responsible growth and use of digital assets." Now, with this, responsible is the key word there, guys. Hopefully this happens. Hopefully they are responsible about this. I just, I thought that was interesting that they used that as a qualifier there. Scrolling down further, it says, that it goes on to say that they're going to protect and promote, all of these blockchain things. But this one, they're going to protect and promote your ability to transact with other persons without lawful censorship, and to maintain self-custody of digital assets. Guys, that, I will applaud that. We do need to keep our right to self-sovereignty and self-custody. It goes on to say that they want to promote stable coins worldwide, protecting and promoting fair and open access to banking services for all law-abiding individual citizens and private sector entities alike. Guys, this is the part where he's striking back against choke point 2.0. A lot of businesses were debanked because the Federal Reserve and the FDIC, the Treasury, a lot of these government agencies basically told the banks that they did not advise that they do business with crypto-related entities. So a lot of companies were debanked during choke point 2.0. And this is the provision in this executive order that kind of strikes back against that. So that's good. Moving on, it says providing regulatory clarity and certainty. Again, guys, this goes back. Hopefully I'm wrong about this whole deregulation thing and, going back to a completely hands-off, do what you want, scam whoever you want, do what, launch your own scams kind of thing that I've been harping on. So this is a good sign here in this executive order. They want to provide regulatory clarity and certainty and well-defined jurisdictional regulatory boundaries. So hopefully, again, guys, hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully they aren't completely deregulating. Hopefully they are putting in place reasonable regulations, reasonable, well-defined, and clear and certain regulations, like it says here. So this is a good sign. Again, going down a little bit further, this next part gets into central bank digital currencies. And it says that it is prohibiting the establishment, issuance, circulation, and use of a central bank digital currency within the jurisdiction of the United States. Again, super good thing to have in this executive order. Nobody wants the government to have control over every single purchase that they make. Central bank digital currencies are the complete antithesis of what the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin itself was founded on. It's kind of, yeah. So that's a good thing. I applaud that. This, looking into this executive order, a lot of really, really good positive things going in here. There's scrolling down, it gets into a lot of definitions here. We're just going to scroll down to this last few parts. It says right here, the working group. So they are establishing a cryptocurrency working group, and the working group shall evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national digital asset stockpile and propose criteria and establishing such a stockpile, potentially derived from the cryptocurrencies lawful seized by federal or cryptocurrencies. Guys, I am struggling. Potentially derived by cryptocurrencies lawfully seized by the federal government through its law enforcement efforts. So, guys, this is kind of talking about a Bitcoin reserve or cryptocurrency national reserve or stockpile. And mainly that this is going to be funded by what the federal government already has, from seizures through that Silk Road kind of thing, which it still has, I believe, $20 billion worth of Bitcoin from those funds. So they're looking at potentially doing a national stockpile with that cryptocurrency that they already have. It doesn't say anything about buying further cryptocurrency on top of that, which is maybe a little concerning, I guess, if you were hoping that the the national Bitcoin reserve would be the US buying $1 million of Bitcoin every day or whatever. It doesn't say that there's anything, any kind of potential there. So that's a little concerning there as far as people, what their expectations were. Now, after Trump signed this executive order, we saw David Sachs, the crypto and AI czar that was appointed by Trump. We saw him talk on Fox News, guys. So I do want to show you guys that interview. Well, listen in.
And this, David, is?
Yeah, this is the crypto EO. We're going to be forming an internal working group to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
David, that's for you. Thanks. You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but we're going to make a lot of money for the country.
Thank you, sir.
And so is David. You have to check him out. There's nobody like this guy. They said, how did you get David Sachs? How did you do that? And he's doing it for the country more than anything else. So we appreciate it, David. Thank you very much.
Now, President Donald Trump announcing a new crypto working group for, quote, developing a regulatory framework for crypto assets, signaling a drastic policy shift from the Biden administration after Trump promised to make America the capital of crypto. Joining us now is President Trump's AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, the man the president says is the man. David, thank you for joining us, first of all. Second of all, is this promises made, promises kept? Because Donald Trump said on July 27th that he would stop federal agencies from targeting the crypto industry. He made good on that promise today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, President Trump campaigned to be the first crypto president. He gave a now famous speech in Nashville where he described how he was going to change the regulatory environment for crypto. And he has now acted on that promise. He signed this executive order today. He's directed our working group to produce a regulatory framework that's going to encourage innovation in crypto in the United States, keeping the industry onshore rather than driving it offshore, which is what was happening under the Biden administration.
I want to get to that framework in just a second. First, the executive order halts what President Trump calls aggressive enforcement actions and overreach. What is he talking about there?
Yeah, well, Edward, for the last 4 years, the Biden administration has basically prosecuted and persecuted crypto companies, really driving them offshore. I've heard so many outrageous stories by founders, by entrepreneurs. The Biden administration would not tell them what the rules of the road were, and they would then get prosecuted. And what the industry wants more than anything else is regulatory clarity. They're saying, just tell us what the rules are, we will abide by them. And the Biden administration would never do that. And because of that, all the innovation was basically moving offshore, and America was about to lose this technology of the future. And we want that innovation happening here in the United States, and I think it now will happen in the United States because President Trump has declared that the U.S. must be the crypto capital of the world.
So it creates this working group that you will chair. What will you be looking for, and what type of guidelines are you looking to put out?
Yeah, so a few areas. So number one, market structure. We need to define what is a security, what's a commodity, what's a digital asset or collectible. So there's a few different categories here. So defining the market structure is important. Second area is stable coins. I think stable coins are a really interesting area. It gives us the opportunity to extend the dollar's dominance internationally. We can basically create a digital dollar that people all over the world will use. And then the third area that we're going to look at is we're evaluating this national stockpile for digital assets. We haven't created it yet, but we're going to study that issue.
So looking at the stockpile, haven't made the decision to go forward. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to evaluate that. We have not decided to do it yet. But we need to study that.
Is crypto an asset or a currency then?
Well, when you're talking about digital assets, it can be multiple things. I mean, you've got digital assets that are securities. You've got digital assets that are commodities. You've got digital assets that are collectibles, like NFTs or meme coins. So, you're talking about a whole vast area of innovation. And so digital assets can be a number of different things. And that's why you need a clear regulatory framework that says, which areas are which. What are the definitions? And that's what founders need. Founders just need clarity around those definitions. They need to know what the rules of the road are so that they can abide by those rules and be confident that if they succeed in the United States, they're not going to get arbitrarily prosecuted.
So how far is the U.S. behind, do you believe, the rest of the world, and how fast will this help catch up?
We're going to catch up really fast. I mean, the innovation was starting to move offshore. There are places like Singapore, even places in Europe that were ahead of us. But now I think it's going to change very fast. Really, if you look at Silicon Valley and the technology industry in general, the U.S. leads in virtually every category, and crypto is one of the few exceptions. And I think that's going to be very, very quickly rectified because of President Trump's executive order today.
I want to get your take on the Trump coin, which started right before he took office. Are you concerned about a conflict of interest there?
I don't think so. I think the Trump coin is a collectible. Like I mentioned, there's different categories of digital assets. That's a collectible. It's like a baseball card or a stamp. People buy it because they want to commemorate something. So this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a regulator, but my personal opinion is that it's totally fine.
So this executive order bans agencies from developing a central bank digital currency. Why is that?
Well, CBDCs are a real threat to freedom and liberty. What you're talking about there is moving to a central bank digital currency that would be run out of Washington by the Fed and would basically gradually replace cash and catalog everybody's transactions. And it could lead to new laws and dictates about how people spend their money. So I think people are very concerned that that could be an Orwellian path to go down. No one wants to go down that path. And I think we can create stable coins, basically digital dollars, without doing that. So the executive order is really clear. We want to create a regulatory framework for stable coins, but we don't want to go down the path of CBDCs.
But a digital currency for a government could be competition to Bitcoin. Did that play into that decision? Well,
I mean, any government can create a stable coin. So, but I think the U.S. Dollar is already the world's reserve currency. So I'm not really worried about competition there. I just want to extend, or I believe that what we should be doing is extending the dollar's dominance into digital areas, extend it online. And I think that could actually create trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries. It could be really useful to us in basically supporting our debt and also bringing down long-term interest rates.
David, in the last 30 seconds we have, you are also the AI, the artificial intelligence czar. The executive order was signed on that, making U.S. the capital of artificial intelligence. What does that mean going forward?
Well, like the president said at Davos today, we want to be number one. We want to be the global capital in artificial intelligence as well as crypto. These are two areas that are absolutely vital for the future. They're both cutting-edge technologies. The Biden administration had passed this 100-plus page EO of burdensome regulation. It was just unnecessarily cumbersome. The industry hated it. They were complaining about it. President Trump promised to rescind that Biden EO. He's done that now, and we're going to replace it with something much better.
Taking the gloves off, we'll see, and we'll see what comes out of what you guys decide. David Sachs, thank you. As the president described the guy, I appreciate it.
Okay, so a few things there with David Sachs in that interview that were interesting to me. First of all, talking on the Bitcoin National Reserve, he said, yes, we're looking into it, but we have not decided if we're going to do it yet. We need to study it, which honestly, being on positive end of that, that's kind of a responsible way to act. But probably not the answer all of the really pro-crypto guys were really hoping for. I think a lot of people, we saw Jack Mallers come out a few months ago and kind of act like he had insider information and said that Trump was going to issue an executive order day one to establish a Bitcoin National Reserve. So for those people that, thought it was just going to all at once happen, I think this is bad news for them. Now, hopefully this ends up happening in the future, but it sounds like they're kind of doing the responsible thing and kind of studying on how to do it right. Hopefully that's the plan. The other thing was where David mentioned Trump meme coin. And he, basically said, it's not really of concern because it's a collectible. And I absolutely do not agree with that. I don't think anybody in meme coins would tell you that they bought a meme coin as a collector. If that were the case, the price wouldn't matter as much. You'd buy Hawk Tua coin because you wanted it to collect it, and you wouldn't buy any more than like maybe a penny of it, because then you'd have that collectible in your wallet. You'd be able to pull up your wallet on your phone and be like, yeah, I own Hawk Tua or I own Trump. It's meme coins are not collectibles. That meme coins are a lot of things, and mainly a lottery ticket. But meme coins are not collectibles. NFTs are collectibles, and Trump knows that, and he has his line of Trump NFTs. But meme coins, I absolutely dispute David Sachs here saying that meme coins are collectibles. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the week with things with the whole Trump administration, all of these executive orders, all of that. Today, as of today, Friday, we did see the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan raised their interest rates to the highest in 17 years. And we saw the yen jump in price relative to other currencies. Now, guys, the important thing that is going on here is the last time this happened, back in, I believe, August, this is when the carry trade unraveled, and it was a Sunday night, Monday morning in Japan. And we just saw stocks and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies just plunge into the red. This is when we crashed clear down to like 49,000 from like 70. So we're holding strong today, guys. We're still up at around 106, I believe. Last time I looked, yeah, we're at about 106 as of recording. And so with this rate hike, I hopefully there's not a big unwind kind of delayed coming in the next day or two. Hopefully the markets kind of saw this coming, which I believe they should have, and kind of priced this in already. And maybe some of the dips that we saw, last week, the week before, where we came down to, what did we hit? Like 98,000 or so, or maybe even below. I think maybe we went down to like 91. Anyways, hopefully the markets have priced this interest rate in, this, and the carry trade was actually unwinding the past several weeks in anticipation of this. But it's something of interest. Just really happy that it didn't come out today and caught everybody surprised and just like absolutely decimate markets and pricing. Also, guys, next week we do have the FOMC meeting happening Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll get the rate decision on Wednesday. I believe the chances, let's just look really quick here. The chances of a rate cut this month are pretty slim. Let's just look this up really quick and see what our chances are sitting at as far as the Fed Watch tool. Let's jump over here. So as you can see, yeah, pretty much nil that we will have another rate cut this month. 99.5% that we will stay at the rates that we are right now. So we're not going to get a rate hike or anything, but we're not expecting another rate cut this month. That said, we'll have to watch, if Federal Chair Powell comes out and says even more hawkish things, or implies that we're not going to cut rates at all, or that we might possibly raise rates this year, that could spell some turbulent price, changes in the next week. So something to keep your eyes on. Again, that'll happen Wednesday is when they'll have the federal chair press conference and the rate decisions. So expect something Wednesday. Usually the days leading into FOMC meetings like this, we do see some volatility. So just be prepared and know that that's kind of going on next week. Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, I know this video, it wasn't a fun video for me to make. And so if you made it this far into this video, really know that, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I'm not selling my altcoins either. I just have some very, very big concerns with the way the administration is handling things. And again, not something I even wanted to make a video about, but it's pretty much all that happened this week. And I felt like if I didn't bring this to your attention, I wouldn't be doing my job. So, I felt like I had to make this video as much as I didn't want to make it. Again, go unsubscribe if you hate me now. I'm hodling, and I think, personally, not investment advice, but I think this cycle will play out like it's always played out. It's just concerning. Before this week, I really kind of thought I was honestly leaning, as much as I hate to say it, towards a kind of a super cycle where we didn't have that fourth year where we go into a bear market. But with deregulation, I mean, what we saw in the savings and loan, guys, was Americans lost $124 billion in the 80s due to Reagan deregulating the savings and loan industry. Now, again, to put that into perspective, and you'll see it, any news articles on Sam Bankman-Fried, they called Sam Bankman-Fried the biggest fraudster in American history. And he lost $19 billion worth of users' funds. At least that was the initial thought, was he lost $19 billion. It ended up they paid over 100% of that back. Kind of, not really. Because if you were holding Bitcoin the entire time, you would have had a lot more. But anyways, guys, the point is that, the media will call Sam Bankman-Fried the biggest fraudster in American history. But if you just go back to the 80s, the government honestly takes the cake on fraud. So just concerning to me, guys. I hope it doesn't play out that way. I hope we're all looking back at this video in the future going, what a Drake, you're so stupid. I truly hope we are doing that. But again, I wouldn't be doing my job on this channel, the intent that I set out to do with this channel, if I didn't bring this to your attention. So guys, really quick before you go, again, we are spotlighting Chicken Butt Microsanctuary for this whole month. If you guys have anything to help these guys out, really, really appreciate it on my end. As you can see, they've got PayPal, Venmo, and a Patreon where you can support them financially. It is a tax write-off, guys. So if you intend on making some serious gains, as I do this year, this will help you when it comes tax time. So go over, help them out. If you can't spare anything, go over and give them a like on Facebook or Instagram. That also really helps. And you don't have to give them anything financially. So again, guys, thanks for lending me your time. And hopefully next week I have a lot more positive videos to come. So hang in there, hodl, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.